Dueling visits to the border by President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. They were miles apart, but the border issue is connecting the two men as we approach a very important week in politics. Next week, it is Super Tuesday and then the State of the Union address on Thursday. Joining me now is NBC's Kristen Welker, moderator of Meet the Press. And Kristen, we are seeing the border become a top issue with many voters. And former President Trump referenced this week the murder of nursing student Laken Riley on the University of Georgia campus here. Does President Biden need to talk about the southern border in his address on Thursday, and how much?
I would be surprised, Jennifer, if he doesn't talk about the border in his address on Thursday, because remember, you had those dueling split screen moments. President Biden, former President Trump at the border at the same time, 300 miles apart. This extraordinary split screen with both men laying out their vision for how to deal with the crisis at the border. And I think it just underscores that this is going to be a major issue heading into 2024. Polls show that Trump gets higher marks for his handling of the border, but President Biden gets higher marks when voters were asked who has the more humanitarian approach. So there is a real divide. We know that the administration has been wrestling with the possibility of taking some executive action, acting unilaterally after that deal that the Senate struck fell apart because Trump frankly said don't accept a deal unless it's the perfect deal. So what will he announce? I think that will be one of the significant revelations of the State of the Union address.
Yeah, we'll be watching, Kristen, this Sunday on Meet the Press. You'll have an exclusive interview with candidate Nikki Haley. She's in the race through Super Tuesday at the least, but the big question here is, will she still be in the following week when we all get to vote here in Georgia?
That's the big question. I asked her what she needs to accomplish on Super Tuesday in order to stay in the race. And she said, look, she needs to be competitive. What does that look like? Does she actually need to win a state? Her campaign argues that 11 of the 16 states and one territory that votes on Super Tuesday are open or semi-open primaries. That's significant because independents and Democrats can vote for Nikki Haley. But we have seen independent states weigh in. New Hampshire, for example, and she still wasn't able to win there. So can she pick up a win on Super Tuesday? Can she start to show some real signs of strength? And then the other big question, what do her donors do, Jennifer? Do her donors start to abandon her? If that starts to happen after Super Tuesday, I think it gets tougher for her to stay in this race, but we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out.